And yes, I am back with new podcast episodes. Hello, welcome back to the Traders Improve podcast. And my name is Rolf from Tradeciety. So yes, I have been not very active on the podcast, as you have probably seen during the last few weeks, I think even. It has been a few weeks since I've made an update. I don't want to come up with excuses. It is the way it is. I just didn't feel like making a podcast. I still do enjoy and I love this format actually. I listen to podcasts every day myself. So this is something that I really want to do. I just haven't found, I just didn't commit to it. But I really want to change that now. And I've compiled a list with dozens and dozens of potential podcast episodes, ideas, things that I want to talk about. So hopefully I will be able to keep my routine and keep delivering podcasts. What else has happened? Well, I've been, it's now exactly mid-2019. It's the 1st July, so the first half of 2019 has already passed, which is kind of crazy, considering how fast the time moves. However, a lot of things have happened already. I just came back from Amsterdam. I've been there for 2 weeks, met some Tradeciety students, which was amazing. I always love catching up with you guys in person. I spend like 5 or 6 hours sitting in a restaurant, in a nice bar, just talking about trading, life, and everything else, mindset. And I'm doing those meetups more often as I'm traveling more often now. I will be in Italy soon, in 2 weeks. In 3 weeks, I'm in Miami. And then I will be traveling all the way through Asia, Vietnam, Philippines, probably Hong Kong at some point as well. So keep an eye out on my Instagram or my Twitter. Maybe I will even announce it here on the podcast if you're interested in meeting me. It's always a pleasure. And yeah, it's nice to connecting with people in person. And yeah, people often tell me that they really enjoy the podcast and they're waiting for more episodes. So here we go. If you want to make sure that I have something to talk about and that those episodes are interesting, you can also go to Tracademy.com/podcast. And I have added a form there where you can just submit your podcast questions. Whatever it is completely anonymously. Hard word. You don't need to enter an email. You don't need to enter a name. Just submit your question and I will make sure to talk about this. This will make my life easier. And I always like answering your questions because, well, in the end, this podcast is for you. If you hear a little bit of background noise, it is crazy hot here in Germany. I'm currently in Frankfurt. Yesterday we had like 38 degrees. The German apartments, even though I live in a completely new building, they don't have air cons for whatever reason. I'm pretty sure this will change in the next few years. However, it's too hot to close the window. So yeah, I apologize for any background noise. It is just the way it is. And the topic actually that I want to talk about today, I have something to talk about because this is something that I had a conversation recently with a trader. And he said, is professional trading really boring? And I thought about it, and this is a question that goes very deep, and I think it's very, very important to address it because obviously I had the same impressions, I had the same idea and the mindset when I started out trading 12 years ago. And I've come to the realization that yes, good trading can be boring to some degree, but it should not be boring because, well, why would you pursue a career, something that is boring? That doesn't make sense to me. And I have dealt with it myself over the years. And for me personally, what I've been doing to battle this is that I keep reinventing myself. I keep testing new trading ideas, new trading strategies, new trading approaches. If you follow my website, for example, or if you're one of my students, then you have just seen that I just recently relaunched, like 2 weeks ago, we launched a completely new price action course about how I trade. I completely scraped the first version of my trading course, and I've replaced it now. Why? Because I have changed my trading approach over the years myself. Whenever I feel that something is boring, and what is boring in the trading context, it just basically means that you're doing the same thing day in, day out. Once a trader has his trading strategy, you have your certain types of patterns. You know exactly what is your routine going to be. When do you check your markets in the morning? How do you check your markets? Which time frames? In which order? What are you looking for? What are your trades looking like? What are the entry criteria? How do you set your stops, your targets? How do you deal with news? And at one point, this will become, you have to not think about it anymore. It will become a routine, and you know exactly what to do and when to do it. And this is what traders mean when they say good trading is boring. Because in the end, you're doing the same thing day in, day out, day in, day out. There's no variation, and all your trades look the same, and everything is just one big routine, and every day just basically looks like the other. And everything that I did in my life always had the goal to just make it interesting for me. Once I realized, okay, my job wasn't really what I want to have more excitement, more variations, I want to experience different things. I walked into my boss's office, quit everything, and then became a trader. Well, I've been trading even before that, but I said, okay, I will become a full-time trader. Then I moved to Asia. Once I realized, okay, I needed to have a change. In Asia, I traveled around through 10, 20 countries in Europe, everywhere, because I always needed change. And the same holds true with my trading. I have been trading Forex for 12, 13 years, and I've been trading my trading strategy that I had for 4 or 5 years probably. And I found, okay, I know exactly what to do. Everything is set up that I don't need to really think about it. I know exactly how to enter the market, but this was again becoming too boring for me and too dull, too monotonous, and I needed a change. So what I did is that I was looking for a different way of trading. I studied new patterns, I experimented with the ways of new setups, new trading approaches, whereas before I was only more or less a reversal trader. Over the last 3 years, I've completely expanded my horizon. I also trade trend following trades, trade following strategies. I trade a few indicator-based strategies. I trade mostly price action. I have breakouts in my arsenal. I trade continuations. I trade retests. And so many different things that I have added. I trade a supply and demand strategy with over 4 different supply and demand patterns. And right now I'm still growing and I'm still experimenting. I've started developing EAs and algorithmic trading systems 2 years back. I'm looking at different ways. I'm interested in stock trading long term. And so why do I do this? Because I think that, or for me personally, the way I feel, the way my brain operates is that I always need new challenges. I need a change. And I just want to try out new things. And I hit this point in trading at one point where I said, okay, good, trading is boring. Well, I'm at this point right now. But this is not something that really excites me. I could not motivate myself in the morning anymore to get up and go in front of the screens and just do the same thing that I've been doing for the past months or years. So this is something that I realized, and ever since then it has sparked so much new interest and fun and excitement, and my passion for trading has grown so much once I started experimenting with new trading ideas and strategies and ways to enter or conquer the markets. I have multiple trading journals open where I trade and track different strategies, new ideas, new ways of getting into the market. and I constantly try to add new things to my trading arsenal. And that is really where trading is fun again for me. And yes, I do have my core trading strategy, which I trade on my live accounts, and those are pretty much always the same. But at the same time, I try to mix it up and I try to evolve, I try to grow, I try new time frames, new markets, just new approaches in general. And then this is something that I believe can make a big difference in how you approach trading and also your long-term view about trading. However, this has to be taken with a grain of salt, obviously, because if you are a new trader, if you are inexperienced, or if your results are not really that consistent, then you need to be a little bit careful with that. You should not be all over the place, because then you're easily getting into system hopping, which is obviously something you need to avoid at all costs. System hopping can be very dangerous. So what I suggest is that if you're new or inexperienced, try to narrow it down to maximum 2 different ways of trading. For example, if you're one of my students or if you're interested in Tradeciety, the price action course is usually where I would recommend you get started. And if you really want to take it to the next level, you want to add a second way of trading, look at the supply and demand system that I also offer there and which I also trade. Those things they complement each other nicely. They're not completely polar opposites, so you don't have 2 battling strategies that are completely on the other side of the spectrum, but they are very similar, very related, but they help you understand the market in a different way. So narrow it down to a maximum of 2 trading systems, trading strategies, if you are new or inexperienced or just inconsistent. You will often see that having more than one approach will keep you flexible, will keep you open-minded. And then you can grow as a trader. You still have some excitement. You're not as easily frustrated if you see that, okay, this one strategy is just not working the way I want it, or I keep making the same mistakes, or it's just not going this way. You have at least one other alternative that you can use, that you can come back to and still try it out. And with that, I want to conclude this little follow-up or welcoming podcast episode. So make sure to really go to Tracademy.com/podcast. First of all, you find all my previous episodes there, and you will also can send me your questions in the form that is on that site. And with that, I wish you all a great week. It's Monday, 1st of July. Also a very nice time, I think, now to recheck or to just check in with your New Year's resolutions. It has been exactly 6 months since the New Year. We are halfway through the year, so make sure that you are on track. And if not, don't beat yourself up. Just make sure that that you tell yourself, okay, here is where I am. This is where I want to go. What are the steps that I need to take? And then make sure that you just follow through. And then in the next 6 months, or after 6 months, once it is December 31st, 2019, which will inevitably come and which you have to face at one point, then you can look back and say, okay, maybe the first half of 2019 wasn't as great, but I made sure that after July the 1st, I really pulled things together and I can end this year on a good note. I made some progress and I'm excited for 2020. So with that, have a good week and you will hear from me.